Hi everyone, welcome back to Anime Night. Today in Beyond the Controller, I want to talk regarding a very special game to me. It's a game that really influenced me to play video games. So this game is the very first game that I properly played and made me fall in love with video games years ago. In total, I probably have like 300 hours of playtime in this game because back in the day I just keep replaying this game because I really love it. From the game footage on the screen, you guys can already guess it's Persona 4. Once again, this is not a review, more of a personal talk of what I like and I dislike about the game. And I will not only talk about the vanilla based game of Persona 4, but also the golden version, so there will be full-blown spoiler in this video. So here's your spoiler warning. For the story itself, the player play as Yu Narukami, a Japanese high school student who recently had to transfer to the countryside of Japan called Inaba due to your parents. Don't worry, you can change your main character's name later. In your early days of transfer, you meet with some friendly people and soon you learn about the town urban legend, where if you stare at a TV that is turned off in the middle of the night, while it's raining outside, you can see your soulmate. You and your friend try it as a joke, but somehow you guys are transported into another world inside the TV. It's a mysterious world surrounded by thick fog, where a being called Shadows attack the humans. In the pinch, you summon a new strange power called Persona, where it manifests your soul into another being that can destroy the shadow. Thanks to your awakening of Persona power, you guys managed to escape and try to forget it, only to be greeted by a bizarre serial murder taking place in the quiet, peaceful city, where the victim's body are hanged in a bizarre place, like an electrical pole or a random house. You guys soon learn that somebody have been pushing people inside the TV world, and when the fog comes to the real world, the shadows become agitated and kill the people. The victim will end up in a bizarre position in the real world, and thus start off you and your friends to save and investigate the true culprit. Gameplay itself for both Vanilla Persona 4 and the Golden can be separated into two parts, with both being tied in the in-game calendar system. The first part is the TV world where you go to the dungeon crawling like normal to strengthen yourself by leveling up or getting more persona and to finish the story dungeon before a certain calendar date, essentially putting a time limit for the player to progress the story. The other half is the real world, where you go living a daily life in the normal world. You can choose to deepen your bonds with friends, take a part-time job, help their problem, and many other things that will affect and help your dungeon crawling. What makes the Persona game unique is the persona and social link mechanic, where the main character is able to freely change the persona that he got in the dungeon. Additionally, changing persona will change the main character elemental affinity, skill, and status. Not only that, players are able to fuse different persona to make an even stronger persona to help them fight tougher enemies. Meanwhile, the social link is the relationship level that you have with the people around you, including the party members. Raising the social link will give multiple bonus in the TV world, from a simple bonus experience when fusing persona to unlocking a passive and assist skill to other playable character. For the Persona 4 Golden, the gameplay still stands true, but with a better quality of life improvement, like able to change their difficulty and money gathering rate, more side activity in the real world to further expand the character development and personality, and another character that named Mari that will change the outcome of the story and give more lore context to the overall of the story. What makes me fall in love with Persona 4 is the story and relationship. Every social link has their own story and struggle that they want to overcome, with them being the spotlight. while we as the player play mostly the side role by giving them support or help. Knowing the character on personal level after spending many times with them and helping the characters to develop to achieve their goal is just very rewarding and become an unforgettable journey. Looking back after playing the game, players will be able to remember the fun and hardship memory that they have experienced together with their friends and people in the Inaba. Helping someone connect with their family or help your best friend come to terms with himself or recovering a childhood joy for making a plastic model. The story of Socialink is very grounded and personal at the same time. Player will be able to connect to the heart or sympathize with the Socialink character is what makes the game so special. The main story also offers an incredible emotional journey with a deep supernatural mystery story that explores the feeling and real self of a person, unraveling the mystery of the TV world and saving the people that is thrown into the TV world makes the player to keep going to know the truth. In the journey, players will be confronted with the desire and real face of their own party member, the ugly but yet beautiful real self that they love. Helping them face it and accepting it brings great joy to the player. Player will be confronted with many situations throughout the game that feels random, but if we look deeper, it gives up small hints throughout the game. From a new cop's slice of life dialogue to the threatening letter that is addressed to you, game will not tell you the answer, but once players are able to connect it, it fits the puzzle, leading to the answer of the culprit mystery. The story takes a slow pace at first, but will quickly ramp up and give a lot of mystery and lore, which can be a bit too much at a time. But this is how the in-game calendar and the social link excel and helps the story pacing. Thanks to the social link part of the game, player will be able to choose their own pacing and have a freedom to finish the dungeon and continue the story or take it easy and enjoy the daily life doing the side activity while leveling up the social link. Going fishing, hanging out with classmates, doing their part-time job, cooking, visiting temple, or saving the people that surround the TV world. It's all the player's choice on what to do with their day. While the story is incredible, it does have one issue that's becoming a meme. It's that the story structure is very predictable, except for the final dungeon. We investigate to prevent someone from getting thrown into the TV world. We failed, we saved them, found them rejecting themselves, battling their shadow self, waited a couple of days, and then the story finally continues. This structure happens basically almost all the time. It gets kinda repetitive and tiring if you are the type that wants to focus on the story or in mood for more story and there is no escaping it. You will experience this structure loop many times throughout the game. Well, they do try to make it slightly different from each dungeon. The structure is still the same, resulting in their effort to make it more variation into making more structure loop even longer than it should be. But on the contrary, if you are a person who likes to take it slow and enjoy the side content, the pacing actually really encourages you to give you an opportunity to experience much of the side content, but not of all of them. So the game is tied to an in-game calendar that moves when you enter an activity, but some of the activity are locked behind the social stats, like your knowledge, courage, diligence, understanding, and expression. So sometimes in social link or character dialogue is unable to be chosen until you have a certain level of social skill. Or you want to talk with your cousins, you need to have a level 4 of understanding. Stuff like that. This prompt player to do other activities that can help increase their social stats. Juggling between the social stats, social schedule, and story takes a lot of management, which often result in the game already reaching the end before you are able to finish many of the side quests or the social link. This encourages players to do a new game plus that have inherit all their social stats so they can play through the entire social link without being locked behind. This mechanic is a double-edged sword to control the player pace, but also putting the player in a bind that want to enjoy the content to the full kinda force it to play the game twice, which takes a lot of time considering this game itself already took 80 plus hours. While the story are really nice written, the gameplay dungeon crawling in the TV world is desired to be better. Okay, let's break it down one by one. First, for the dungeon. For all the dungeon, it's a randomly generated hallway with countless roofs and many floors and no return checkpoint. So you can enter from your latest floor, but to return you need to walk to the first floor again or use an expensive item. This already a problem since from the dungeon size, you are encouraged to do multiple runs to restore your health or fuse better persona. This not only takes many important days that have been previously mentioned, but also there is an invisible toll that you as a player indirectly have to pay when you enter a dungeon in the game, where money is already tied. Second is, as I mentioned, it's a randomly generated corridor. There's so much corridor that just kills the whole dungeon mood. There are treasure chests here and there, but still it's just so much corridor walking. The dev did try to make it different with themes like castle and then sauna or heaven, but it's all still just a corridor. Even the whole final dungeon is just one big corridor. The second aspect of the TV world dungeon crawling is the battle. You play in a turn-based with a 4-people team that you can choose from party member selection. Everyone has their predetermined persona skills that they acquire from leveling up, while most of your better persona is from the fusion, where you can inherit their skills from the fusion material, giving a wide range of persona customization skill choice. In battle, it runs mostly the same as other normal turn-based games, but with a twist where if you hit an enemy elemental weakness, you can down them, and when they're down, you can move again for another turn. If all enemies are down, you can perform an all-out attack, which is an unblockable big damage attack. While this is good in the paper, the game is poorly balanced. There's almost no other tactics viable, and your goal in the battle is just to keep downing the enemy to get the all-out attack. Even when other tactics are viable, they only work on niche selectable fights. And in normal and hard difficulty, there aren't many challenges that can kill you, so most of the battle fight just turn into a sponge fight. You just keep repeating the same thing every turn for 30 minutes or so. I will give them a praise that they try to make the player keep on their toes and make every turn feels important by making sure that if your main character dies, you get the game over. No matter if all party members are alive, you just lose if your main characters die. While many people hate this, I like these mechanics that makes you think twice before spamming an attack skills, making buffing and debuffing skill more valuable. Unless you get hit by a random instant kill attack, which is just awful. The last part that I want to talk about is about the character design and the game music. The 2D anime portrait in Persona 4 is very well designed and pretty. It's so expressive, with a clearly distinct look for each of them. They blush, they cry, they laugh. It's a joy to look into them, and they are very unique that makes them stand out from the rest, but not too overbearing. They each have their own style that reflect their own identity, from Kanji's cool, Yukiko Yamato Nadeshiko look, or Naoto's detective hat. Each has a small thing that expresses the character. But don't look at the 3D model. They probably held back by the PlayStation 2 era technology, but the 3D model suffers a lot of the bad design that honestly you can't really know what is their emotion, but thankfully the game often use a wide area camera, so you can't really see the 3D model face and instead focus on the beautiful 2D art. And last is the music. It's certainly one of the biggest highlights in Persona game. All of them are incredible, from small quiet town of Inaba in summer, catchy Junes music, melancholic heaven dungeon, to the groovy opening. They all hit the spot. It's really hard to explain, but Soji Meguro, the composer, managed to manage to always catch the best moment of the game using the music. Persona is one of the rare franchises where the music is highly anticipated by the fans, then they even often do a Persona concert in Japan to show how many people love the Persona music. So, in summary, I want to conclude that Persona 4 is probably one of the most influential Japanese games that act as a seed that helps the series become popular in the West, with a very compelling emotional storyline and in-depth personal with the character that have a really fun gameplay loop that makes players just want to keep playing. But the game itself have several flaws in the dungeon crawling and being held back by the PlayStation 2 era technology, resulting in some part of the game did not age very well. Persona 4, in my opinion, is a must-play for every RPG gamers, but I want to notify people to be open-minded with the flaw and think of it as a PlayStation 2 era games and love the game for what makes it good and also for what makes it bad. And that's all from me. I'm glad I was able to talk about probably one of the most important game in my life. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye!